Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for coming back. Today's video is going to be about whether or not you hate nursing. I got an email from a viewer telling me that she hates nursing, and she listed a few things to help me understand the reason she feels this way. So if you want to hear what these things are, then please stay tuned for the video. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for coming back. For those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Mercy. I'm a BSN RN, and on this channel I talk about nursing, lifestyle, beauty. I do a little bit of vlogging, and I just do a little bit of everything. So if you would like to join my family, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below, and also hit the bell notification button so you'll never miss another video from me again. With that being said, let's talk about nursing. A lot of you guys who watch me are either high school students, people who are deciding to go into nursing, and people who are new nurses. So I got an email from a new nurse who says that she is 2 months into her new position and she absolutely hates it and she hates her life. And she told me some of the reasons why she feels like she hates nursing. So I'm gonna go ahead and talk to you guys about those things, because I'm one of those people that had the most difficult start to my nursing career. It wasn't fun, and I can completely relate to what this person is going through. This is something that a lot, if not all, new nurses go through. The only time you're going to be really comfortable in your new position is, to me, and this is just my opinion, but I feel like it is only if you have worked for that exact company on the exact same unit as a PCA and you're used to everybody on the floor and you know your way around. That to me takes the newness out of everything, and the only thing you have to do at this point is to change your role. But even with that, it's still hard, because being a PCA is different from being a nurse. When you're the PCA, you always tell the patients, let me go get your nurse. But when you're the nurse, you can't say, let me go get your nurse, because you are the nurse. So you have to answer questions, you have to fix things when they're broken, you have to do things that a nurse is expected to do. You're not leaning on someone else anymore, like your professor or your classmates. You're not leaning on those people. You are responsible for those patients. Yes, you can ask questions. Yes, you can get support from everybody, but you're still expected to perform those tasks as a nurse. So one of the things that she mentioned was that, number one, she feels very overwhelmed. And this is true for every new nurse out there. As a new nurse, when you first start that job, you're gonna feel so overwhelmed, because again, your role has changed. You are no longer the nursing student that has to go get her nursing professor if a patient asks a question he or she doesn't understand. You are no longer the PCA, as I stated before, that says, let me go get the nurse because I'm not allowed to answer that, I'm not allowed to touch that, or I'm not allowed to do that. You are now the nurse, and you have to not only talk to the patient, you have to give report to other nurses, and you have to make sure that the things you're telling them are accurate. You have to answer to your supervisor and your charge nurse and your manager. You have to talk to the family when they call in to ask questions. You have to talk to the patient. You have to answer the patient's question, and you also have to give information to the doctor as to what's going on with the patients, because sometimes the doctor walks on the floor, and if you're assigned to the same patient as the doctor, they want to get a little bit of update on what's going on with the patient. You have to be able to talk to the doctor about what's going on without saying, I have absolutely no idea, because even though you're thinking it in your head, you have to just be able to come up with something to sound a little smart. So that can be very overwhelming, because you feel like you have all these things you have to do. As I always tell you guys, nurses wear a lot of hats, and those hats can be kind of heavy sometimes. And so the feeling of overwhelm is real. It happens a lot. It happens to even more experienced nurses. So it's definitely going to happen to you, the new nurse. Even though it's not how you want to feel, but it's very normal, because best believe you're not the only one going through it. Another thing she said was that she feels very unprepared. Again, this, if I could write a song, I would write a song about this, because nursing school is something else. The real world of nursing is something else. I feel like nursing school does a great job of simulating what you should expect as a nurse. They do a great job of telling you this is how it's going to be, this is how it's going to be, but nothing prepares you for the real world than being there and experiencing it yourself. Because even clinicals are supposed to mimic your real position as a nurse, I guess. But think about it, at clinical, you have other classmates that sometimes you have to work with as a team. You have your professor there that you can just run out and grab and use every situation as a teachable moment or a learning experience. But when you become a nurse, when you get that patient assignment, depending on where you work work at, but usually new nurses go to med-surg, so I'm gonna say med-surg. When they tell you you have 4 to 5 to 6 patients by yourself, that can be the scariest thing, and you are going to feel unprepared. I've heard this so many times, and I've experienced it myself. When you get on the floor, it's almost like you forget everything you learned in nursing school, and you feel very unprepared, and you're stuck wondering, what did I learn for 3 to 4 years? Because you feel like you forgot everything. So that feeling also is very normal, and this is the reason I really push nurse residency, because if you have a nurse residency program with your employer, it helps, because these are the kind of things you talk about in the nurse residency program. You get to hear from other new nurses and see what they're going through, and you get to match your experiences, and that makes you feel better, even though it doesn't change what's going on, but it makes you feel better that, oh, I'm not dumb, I'm not stupid, I'm not unprepared. This happens to everybody. We all feel the same way. We're all experiencing the same things. So that is one of the reasons I really push nurse residency programs, and I really wish all hospitals and other nursing facilities have these programs, because it is very helpful for those new nurses out there. Another thing she mentioned was that she dreads going to work in the morning just because of the feeling of not knowing what she's doing. Again, this happens to everybody. It depends on what's going on in your job environment. So whether you're being bullied, or you feel like you're not getting enough support, or you just don't feel like you belong here. This can happen for all these reasons, but again, this is very normal. I myself went through the same phase. I used to go to work extra early just to get myself mentally and physically prepared to carry on with my day. It was something that I really had to put a lot of time and a lot of thought into, and I found myself not having a life outside of work because I was so focused on work, and I would go home and try to read all my nursing books and do all of these things thinking that it would help me feel better, or thinking that it would help me, you know, fix what's going on. But again, this is the new nurse syndrome, as I like to call it. It happens to a lot of people, and it happens to all of us. The last thing she mentioned was that she was very unhappy with herself. So she felt like she was a failure or a disappointment. Again, I've been there, I've done that, I've felt that way. And I know normal is supposed to be good, but in this case, this is the nursing norm. So everybody goes through this. And the only time that I say that these things are unacceptable is, number one, if you find yourself hating your life to the point where you contemplate maybe hurting yourself. If you find yourself crying all day, every day, even when you're not at work, every time you think about work, you're crying, and you're so unhappy, you're taking it out on yourself, you're taking it out on your family members, you're taking it out on your friends, you're keeping to yourself, you're not eating, you can't even sleep, you're losing weight, you are just so unhappy, then I would say this is a little bit abnormal. Talk to someone, because these are early signs of depression, and this can lead to something really bad. So I would say talk to someone, and if you feel like it's getting worse as the time goes on instead of getting better, then I would say maybe step away from the environment, because again, I had to do that. Like, I feel like I've shared so much of me and so much of my experience with you guys. I've been through all of this. My situation was a little different, because not only was I going through all of that, which is the norm, but I was also being bullied, which made it even worse for me. So I had to make that decision to step away from that environment, because it was not worth my sanity. So to go back to the question of, do I hate nursing? There is two answers to that question. One, it might be yes, you probably actually do hate nursing. Number two, maybe it's not nursing you hate. Maybe it's the fact that you are a new nurse experiencing all these things that you don't know that every other new nurse out there is experiencing. So you feel like, this is just me. I'm dumb, I'm stupid, I don't know what I'm doing, so therefore I hate nursing. It also may be the environment. For me, it was the environment. If I was going through all these normal things and having a lot of support, and having someone hold my hands to show me the ropes, and having someone just telling me, it's okay, I was new too, you're not gonna know everything, you're not gonna have the answer to everything, this is what you do, this is what you shouldn't do. If I had someone doing that for me, I feel like things would have been better. So if you can get that kind of support from your preceptor or your charge nurse or anybody, go ahead and see if you can get that. But if the environment is toxic and you're subjected subjected to verbal or emotional abuse at your job only because you're asking questions that some people may think is dumb, then I would say, yeah, it's time to step away from that environment. Go find you something else that is going to keep your sanity. Again, you might not hate nursing. You might just hate the transition of going from student nurse to actual nurse. It might just be the environment. It might be your support team. It might be all the other things that are going on around you. And it also might be maybe you actually are not meant to be a nurse. So you just have to dig deep. So the reason I really made this video is for not only this viewer, but for all of you out there who are maybe experiencing something similar and you think it's just you. And I feel like hearing these things are going to make you feel better. Then you can actually decide, maybe this is what I can do to help my situation, or maybe this is who I can talk to help me out. The best thing I can say to do to remedy this situation is to, number one, stay positive. I don't care what's going on. Do your best to stay positive. You have to remember the reason you became a nurse. Don't walk around telling people, I'm quitting this job. I hate this job. I hate my life. I hate the supervisor, the charge nurse, blah, blah, blah. Whatever your thoughts are, whatever your feelings and beliefs are, try to keep it within you and just put up a good front and stay positive, because you never know when you're going to need references from that job, when you're going to need a referral. You never know who's listening to you. You never know who's going to go tell on you. So just do your best to stay positive. When you go home, you can talk to whoever you want, however you want. But when you are on that unit, just put on your acting face and try your best to stay positive. You also have to remember your end goal. Maybe you're on a med-surg floor, but your dream is to be an ICU nurse, and you didn't get that position right off the bat. Being a med-surg nurse is not only going to help you get your foot in the door, but it's also going to give you the experience that you need, because everybody knows that whenever you go to apply for a job, people always want experience. Not saying that you're not going to be hired because you don't have experience, but people like when you have experience. That way they don't have to train you as much, because training costs a lot of money, costs a lot of headaches, and sometimes employers just don't want to deal with that. So they like experience. So you have to remember your end goal. Maybe stay in this position for a while, be positive, do the best you can, and just get the experience you need. And then when it's time to go, you can go. You can also be at this position, and I'm not advising anybody to do this, but if you're miserable and you're just unhappy, you can be at this position while you're looking for something else. And when you do find something else, tell your manager, thank you so much for the opportunity, but I have found something else that I want to explore. They will respect you for that, and also you will also not burn any bridges. So this is personal for everyone, but at the end of the day, we all go through the same things. So please watch this video, look at some of those points that I made, and if it matches your situation, try to figure out if it's really nursing you hate, or if it's just something that is going on in that moment. So that is it for this video, guys. I hope this video was helpful to you guys. If you enjoyed it, please go ahead and give me a big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below, and also hit the bell notification button so you'll never miss another video from me again. And if you think the video was helpful, please go ahead and share it with all your friends and family so that they too can benefit from it. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.